Hello everyone, it's the Borg here from the room and all that. Just finally getting around to making that video. I promised I'd make you guys earlier, and I want to keep this one pretty short, but still cover a bit of everything. About my strategy, about my newbie strategy, my more advanced strategies, just a little bit of everything, and also start everybody off on a way to make consistent pips. You know, I've been demoing this for a couple weeks now, and I've gone live with it for over 2 weeks continuously just with the strategy. Never had a losing day with the strategy just because this starting strategy is really accurate. The only thing that it requires is a little bit of patience here and there, but honestly it's my favorite strategy. It's the one I go by, and yeah. So I have a couple different strategies, and I've broken these up in my whole tutorial thing, or that I'm working on anyway. I'm breaking up into a 3-wave kind of project, you know, different waves and all that of things with the market, you know, everything moving in waves and such. So 3 waves so far up to this point with strategies. We have wave 1 that's pretty much the Jazz Fran kind of strategy, sort of like Bobby's strategy as well, and kind of how to be very accurate at taking a lot of pips or a decent number of pips just very accurately and putting kind of a higher percentage of your account on each pip and whatever, but just being very accurate about it. And then stage 2, or wave 2 actually, that's stage 2, but wave 2 being all about the different things like the 3 magic kisses and more about the long terms and how to trade the blues accurately, just to pick up a couple, you know, extra pips here and there. And then wave 3, just all in on the BV, just all about your caps, your, you know, invisible support resistance lines, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I've babbled on long enough, so let's get started here. And I do want to keep this short, but I'm going to make you guys a lot more videos, you know. Benny, watch out, I'm probably going to outcompete you in this. No. You're great, man. You make tons of videos, and they're really good. So anyway, I'm going to make a lot more videos to give you examples, but I just want to tell you my general strategy. And here's the strategy. What I do first is I look at the long terms, just basically like these 3 charts, you know, your 1 hour, your 4 hour, your daily. I look at these 3 charts to determine my bias, and I create basically off of this. Then I look at the short terms to figure out things with blues in particular. After that, I come up with what my bias is at this time, and also I say what is going to get me in an up trade and what is going to get me in a down trade, because I have to have both positions like ready on every pair. So I always have 8 plans ready to go, and the reason for this is that I like early on in my trading career, basically I found myself, you know, in the room when I was demoing and stuff, that I found myself just taking random trades sometimes, and I was like, okay, why did I make this mistake? And it's really because I didn't have a solid enough plan. And so that's what I'm really trying to give you guys here, is a really solid plan in it. But anyway, just for the overview of the strategy, after I figure out the blues on the short term and I come up with my plan, then it's basically just a waiting game of when does this happen? You know, when does my up plan happen? When does my down plan happen? And just kind of timing all that. And as soon as I see it, I go open TP. You know, that's my thing. Open take profit, 20 stop loss, and I get as many pips as I can. First off, you probably don't want to stack, and you can make over, you know, something like 100 pips, honestly, a lot of days without even stacking. So with stacking, you know, you're doing Jazz Fran style basically. And I find this is a little bit better because I like open take profit, and I don't really like the 5-pip method, but I'll go into more detail about that later. So I just go in, and then I have specific signals that say get out. Basically, my signals that say get out. So I only get in basically on pinks, or at least in this strategy, it's all about pinks. So you only get in on the pinks that are with your story, with your bias at the time. And you take the pink for an open TP until you have like basically blues, and you have a pink, and you have like signals on both the 5 and the 15 to get out. So it's 5 and 15, this is really the part based on the long terms, but it also has a lot to do with the blues and predicting reversals and stuff. So that's it, and let's go over a quick trade. I don't think I have time to go over too many, and on this day there weren't really too many with the strategy, but let me just teach you a little bit about it. So first off, here's how I score the long-term charts. We're going to have a look at a couple. So if I look at the GU here, I score 3 things. I score the orange being above or below the golden road here, or the, you know, the yellow line. So is it above or below, and determine that as usual. So, you know, okay, 1 down, 1 up, 2 up. So 2, 1 up on that. Then I also determine things based off the point of the orange line here, because BB talked a lot about this, and I found it very useful for the 15-minute here, and so I use that on the long terms all the time. So is it pointed up, is it pointed down? I say this is pointed down, pointed down, and maybe pointed up just a little bit there. So, like, then that's a 2-1 down, just based off the point of the road. And then I look at the last arrow. I mean, Jazz has some pretty cool ways of scoring, like last arrow with or with, against the trend, but mostly I just go last arrow. And I'm going to make some more videos in the future on the specifics of arrows and like their performance, but for now, just go by the last arrow. Okay, 1 up, there's 1 down, then 2-1 down. So it looks like it's going down in terms of those arrows. So after I have this, I basically have my long-term story that I'm going to go by, and that's where I start constructing my plan from. And so here I'm going to give you an example on the UJ. So okay, we have our so 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, right? Look at the point of the orange line, pointed up, 1 up, 2 up, 3 up. Okay, so 3-0 up, 3-0 up. Okay, then I'm seeing 2-1 up on these arrows, right? Up here, up over here. So it's like pretty strong bias up. And then I start constructing my plan, because I have to have an up plan and a down plan, because if I don't, then you can always end up taking bad trades and whatnot. So if we look at our plan here, I'd say, okay, what it's going to get me to go in for an up here and to get a decent number of pips, because I want like 10 pips or something. I don't just want like 5 or 2 or whatever. I mean, after spread and commission, you need some really quality pips here, and open TP is my thing. So if I'm looking in for an up, I say if I get a 1 hour up over here, this is just saying, okay, we're going to get a boost up, and if I get a resistance break. So if it's up here and it like just breaks through the resistance, and I have my 5 and 15 with me, if I get like a pink or pink red, then I'm like, okay, I'm in for an up. But if I don't get those conditions, I'm not going in for it. Now in future parts of like wave number 1, because they're broken into different sections and whatnot, I'll go over some cases where that's not completely the case, but to start with, you really want to start with a very strong plan. And if you don't like stick with a really strong plan, and you just try to immediately go everywhere at once, then you're pretty quickly going to end up failing. And this is just like, you have a plan, you stick with it, and the worst that happens is you don't take any trades, and that's really it. And so let's go through this. So UJ, here's my down plan. I say, so my up plan, 1 hour up, resistance break. I get my signals, I'm going in up. Only pinks and pink reds. But then it's like, okay, I need a down plan too. Even if this looks like it's a really strong up, because I mean the signals are with me, like just everything looks really strong up besides like, these arrows and this high over here. So still, I say, we have to have a down trade possibility. So if I get a 4 hour down, and I get my signals down, since we're up at here at basically like a good price, as Benny would say and whatnot. Not on the 5-minute, but just on the 15-minute and longer time frames. We're up really close to resistance here. So if we get some pinks and stuff down, it looks like we're going down pretty hard. But I want my 4 hour here, just to start with. So let's go forward. So when does our plan start coming to fruition, right? Well, so far it's a bit bitty, a bit bitty, as Jazz Fran would say or whatnot. It's not really going anywhere at the moment, but we're going to keep watching. Okay, we got some strong signals, right? It's like, okay, we're going down, right? But, I mean, if you look at this, we're still not changed on the long term yet. Now you can start getting in here if you start to see what's coming, especially since we have this new yellow here. But it's like, okay, the plan says we get a 4 hour down and my signals, okay, that's what I'm going with. So I'm going to keep going forward. And it's like, okay, that trade didn't quite win yet because, it's going back up. And then boom. I don't remember if news hit or what it was here, but it's just like right here, when it hits, and it's a monster. And as you go forward here a little bit, yeah, you see you get your 4 hour. Just the 4 hour appears. We got it correlating with this 1 hour. These are new signals right here, even though it's against our trend and the point of the road initially. So we got these new yellows here, and we're at the high. And here we are. Look, there's not only a pink red on the 15, but also on the 5-minute. Now, you are going against the blue, but in this case, the row, I go by these purple lines quite a bit. They're just absolutely amazing. And you see that it's kind of bent down here. And when it's bent down, it's not at a flat line. It's not likely to reverse yet, especially when you're going against this really, really strong long-term bias. So I'm in the open TP trade pretty much right here. I just hit the trade, and I'm just going to be in it for a while. and it's like, okay, now I'm going to wait for my reversal signals. For my reversal to actually get out of this trade, I have to not only have my blues and my flat line, but I want both a 15 and a 5 minutes going against me, because I'm going off really strong bias, and it's going to keep going my way until I get the blues and a 15 and a 5 against me. And one of those needs to be a pink or a pink red. So it's like, okay, we're still in the trade. Oh, well, we got a pink red here, and there's a blue here, but this isn't completely a flat line. The 15 saying, no, not quite yet. And we also got this blue down here. I mean, he's saying, okay, we're going up sometime, but it's not yet. So this is like getting you in, and it says, okay, when you see all these blues, it's like, don't take more trades really at this point unless you have like a 3-0. In this case, and like also if you're with the trends, in this case we're not with the trend, but if you're really with the trends, then you can kind of ignore the blues a bit more, but I'll talk about that more in the future. Just trying to keep this not a year-long kind of video. And then I think it's somewhere around here. It's like there we go. So right here, when we get this pink red, right? We only got a blue here, so it's like not quite ready. But see, there's a pink red here. There's a pink red and then a yellow and these blues saying, okay, we're at flat line. It's time to go back up. So I mean, maybe it's not going to go up forever, but it's like, okay, this kind of move is over for the moment. So I'm like, okay, I got some pips and I'm out of this trade, just like right here. And that's basically my trading style, and I'll go through a lot more examples in other videos, but as I said, I want to keep this under being a year long, so yeah. But this is a good example of my trade, and it's just like, okay, I'm getting out right here, and open TP just works really good miracles for this. And so I'll shoot you guys some more videos to talk through a bunch more trades, but this is my basic wave 1 strategy. It scores something like nowadays something like 100 pips a day often, even without stacking most days, if you get some really good trending pairs. I mean, this day the pairs weren't quite trending too well. I mean, some of them were with my plans and whatnot, but it's like, really focus on the best pair that actually goes with your plan and just pay attention to it. Work on stacking if you want to. I'll talk through how to do the whole risk management part in future videos, but for now, just know this is my strategy. It's to repeat it, it's like I look at the long term when I first get in the room. So whenever I first just look at these three and I'm like, okay, I go by above or below, so I count that as we normally do. Then I look at the point of the orange, I go by that, and then I look at the last arrow. And so after all this, I look at the short term, I make up my strategy of what's going to get me in and up, what's going to get me in or down, and then as soon as I get it with my plan, I see a pink or pink red on the 5 and 15, or the 5 or the 15. With my plan, I take it. And this move I showed you later on, down to wherever it went to, like all the way down over here. This move right here, by my calculations of getting in just right after that signal, it's about 38 pips. Okay, that's that's a pretty good number, and really it's super easy, especially if you're stacking this like 4 times. You made hundreds of pips, and with my risk management strategy, you're really doing that as pips are basically now percents, and a lot of the time, it's going to be like 120 kind of percent in a day. But I'm going to talk through a lot more of that in future videos. I've kind of rambled on long enough, but there it is. There's my strategy. And yeah, so ask me some questions in the room, whatnot about it, because I really love this room. I really love teaching you guys, and I really want everybody to be able to succeed here. And I think that this really is the simplest kind of strategy, at least that I have so far, to really get you in really good trades and get a lot of pips and just really get to making money quick. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the room, and happy trading. Goodbye.